Hello, Baron here with another video for the Board Game Shelf. Here we are, Mansions of Madness, another Cthulhu Mythos game made by Fantasy Flight Games. So, I mentioned in the Eldritch Horror video that I think I like Mansions of Madness a little bit more. Um, I think it has to do with kind of how it, like, I think it kind of has to do with like how interactive it is. So, a lot of these games that deal with scenarios like Eldritch Horror, and Arkham Horror and Mansion of Madness, they kind of have this sort of um, almost a tabletop role playing game vibe to it because you as players are playing a scenario that is dictated to you by at least in Eldritch Horror, you read cards that tell you what to do next, kind of like a legacy game, sort of. In Mansions of Madness, however, all the story bits are given to you in an app. There's an app that you have to use on your phone. It kind of shows you on here. It explains that you need to download a digital companion app, which is free. You have to purchase the physical game, but the app is free. And basically, it's like a digital game master. It tells you, like, you choose a scenario, and it tells you which tiles to set up on your table and where to put various tokens and things, and then you can basically spend your turn interacting with different things and going from room to room, and things develop over time. There's a lot of sort of administration that's taken care of by the app, and when it goes to the Mythos phase, you don't know exactly whether like time, like whether something's like ticking or whether you're out of time or not. If you're like in a turn limit or something like that for a certain scenario or whatever. There have been some scenarios that I played where I really thought we were going to win, but then all of a sudden the game said you took too long, you lost, which is a little bit frustrating because it to be fair, it was warning us, like, things are getting worse and worse and worse. But there's like the most recent time I played Mansion of Madness, I thought that we thought we had like one more turn, but we didn't. Everything, it was too late and everything went terribly or something like that, which was a bit frustrating. But honestly, when it comes to like cosmic horror, you kind of expect to lose. You expect to kind of like for your characters to do terribly, essentially. Even with the digital app, however, there's a lot of stuff. As you can see, there's like basically you combine a bunch of these tiles into like you kind of like you set them up and you create like a whole building slowly. One room after another, kind of like almost like a dungeon crawl. There are a bunch of other tiles farther down that are much bigger. Like there's larger square tiles and things like that. But I also don't want to mess things up too much. These are the dice. Stars are successes. Magnifying glasses are successes if you spend a clue token, and then blank is no successes. But yeah, we used a bunch of bags and things to organize everything, organize all the various cards and tokens. And there's a lot of miniatures as well. A lot of them are specific to certain scenarios. There's even some like large miniatures in here as well, which is kind of cool. Here are the various investigators. Like I said, just like in Eldritch Horror, you'll probably recognize some of these faces. Wendy Adams I recognize. The Secretary I recognize. The Diana Stanley, the Redeemed Cultist. Pretty sure Charlie Kane is in here somewhere. Oh no, he's not. Never mind. But he is in other Fantasy Flight games as well. But like there are other characters that are recurring. But yeah, I know we have I know we have at least one other expansion, maybe two, that are in this box. I can't remember exactly what they are. We're currently using the expansion box to house another game because the box that game came with was torn apart basically. Actually, no, I think it'll probably tell us here. Streets of Arkham. Yeah, so we have the Streets of Arkham expansion here, as this shows. We have Beyond the Threshold as well. And they each have their own expansion icon. And then let's see, is this the, yeah, this is the learn to play book, and this is the rules reference. You know a game, just like Elder Torah, you know a game is deep when it has basically a reference book where you need, like if you need to look up a certain rule, then you have to look it up in here. One thing that's kind of cool about the fact that you use an app for this is that for certain puzzles, you have to use like, so there's different attributes like strength, dexterity, will, like your knowledge, and or I think it's called lore instead of knowledge. But anyway, you use your character's amount. Like if your character has an observation score of 4, and you're doing a puzzle in the app to like try to like unlock something or whatever. You basically have 4 moves for that puzzle. It could be one of those like traffic jam sliding block puzzles. It could be like a mastermind puzzle where you're trying to guess a sequence of symbols or numbers or something like that. But yeah, so you only get like four tries or 4 steps, and then after that you have to stop, and then the next person can like do a few more steps and things like that. You very like more than Elder Torah, you are definitely working together a lot more in Mansions of Madness. And you really do feel like you're going more on a journey because the app does a lot to kind of it gives you descriptions. It gives you some like music and sound effects. It tells you basically what you need to set up where and when, and like what basically once you get the hang of it, it's honestly very straightforward. And I personally find a lot of fun with it. I know there are some board game enthusiasts out there who don't like app-assisted games, and I think personally, I think that as long as an app is implemented well, that there's like a really that it makes things easier and more enjoyable for the players, then I think it's a good implementation. And I think Mansions of Madness is probably one of the best examples I've ever seen of an app-assisted game. And for a genre that very much relies on vibes and mystery and things happening in the background that you're not sure of, and you're kind of driving you like paranoid a bit and like worried, having an app running all of that instead of you, the players, following the instructions on a card, that's honestly really good. I think Fantasy Flight Games really hit a home run with how this works. Like I said, sometimes it can be a bit frustrating when you don't know exactly. Sometimes you might, depending on the scenario, you might not know exactly what you need to do. It's just kind of like sometimes the app will tell you need to talk to this person or whatever, or you need to go to this room and stuff to progress. But other times, in some scenarios, they might just say, investigate, just do whatever. And so we're like, okay, there's a question mark token there. We'll investigate that. There's a person there. We'll talk to them. And then you kind of like unfold the story as you go along. And you can play the same scenario twice, and it's different each time. It's another thing that an app helps with. So I love Mansions of Madness. Probably one of my favorite Cthulhu board games that we own and that I've ever played, honestly. So I enjoyed it a lot. Obviously, it is, it's on the bigger and more expensive side. But for those who have the time and the means and the money, I think this is excellent. This is really, really good. And also you can play it by yourself as well. You can do the same thing with Elder Torah, but because of the app and everything, if you don't mind setting everything up yourself, you could, do solo adventures as well, which I think is kind of neat. But yeah, that's all I've got here. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. The next section on my board game shelf is going to be another series of games. I think we're pretty much done with the Cthulhu games as far as I know. There might be a couple more later, but like all the main ones are done. But yeah, what's the next board game series that we have? Well, you'll have to find out in the next episode of Board Game Shelf. So hope you enjoyed, and until next time, all the best.